Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back, Going In Raw News Brief. Hey, let's try to get this one up to 600 likes today. Smash that like button. Larson, what's in the news?
What's in the news? Tom Calhoun is reporting that Vince McMahon is angry.
Uh-oh.
He is so mad.
Oh, no.
So Tom said on the latest Dropkick Discussions podcast, Vince is none too happy about leaks happening during the latest round of Performance Center tapings. Of course, once WWE moved all their production to Performance Center, including WrestleMania this year, there had been basically no leaks at all that I can think of.
I don't recall.
WrestleMania wasn't spoiled.
I know, it was funny. I know, like, there was, like, one of the Twitter outlets, I forget who, said, yeah, we've got access to WrestleMania leaks. No, they didn't. Nobody was leaking nothing, man. If they were, we would have heard of it at some point.
You would have thought.
Yeah.
Heard nothing.
Nothing.
Anyways, this is what's being reported. Quote, this week, a lot of information got out, and Vince McMahon was apparently not happy at all.
Ooh.
There will be inquiries because now they can say for certain someone of that NXT talent is giving information to wrestling media.
Oh, no.
Information getting out has put a few people under pressure. What does that mean for the crowds? We'll have to see going forward. I think they will stick with it. NXT talent have been told they would be needed for the future, but that said, WWE will look to find out who has been leaking information. If they can find out, if they can't find out, they may end up pulling the crowd.
They ain't pulling that crowd. The crowd is making these shows palatable, man. But yeah, hey, Performance Center kids, Full Sail kids, stop leaking information, man. Look, I know our good friendo Sean Ross Sapp over there. He was at the forefront of this. He was given the good information. For example, Drew Gulak spotted at the SmackDown taping. He had been resigned. There is a spoiler about an NXT call-up possibly working to tomorrow night's SmackDown, or it's been taped already, the one that's going to air tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah.
We're not going to spoil that here. But you know, I get it. People want it. People are out there. They're going to leak stuff. But I don't know, man. Me personally as a fan, I like to be surprised. I don't know, if you're hired by a company, you start leaking stuff out. What's your take on that, Larson? Would you be a leaker? Would you be a leaker?
I don't think so. But at the same time, the leaks don't bother me.
But you don't strike me as the leaking type.
No.
I wouldn't.
No,
leak.
I got a vault and I keep things in the vault.
I wouldn't leak. I would not leak. I'm good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just me.
Yeah.
So
I'm changing some notes here so there's not a spoiler in it. Anyways, you got anything more to say?
No, Vince McMahon is justifiably upset here. You know, these kids, they maybe pay him more and they won't leak. I don't know. Who are they going to put on the job here? Regal? Is Regal? Kayfabe he's gonna be trying.
I don't know. They need
to
to get Britt Baker over to get her bulletin board out, find who the brains of the operation is, get the red string to all the conspirators, and then work it out that way. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Which of the kids that we saw at the Performance Center do you think could be potential leakers? Shotzi Blackheart, leaker?
I'm not going to accuse anybody of that. I'm not going to just throw out accusations. Serious.
NWO Dexter Loomis, Ridge Holland, leaker?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to accuse anybody. I'm not going to speculate because it's not fair. We got no evidence.
Jessamine Duke, leaker.
We got no evidence, so it's unfair to start throwing out accusations of people leaking.
They're all leakers.
Not responsible. It's not responsible.
Every single damn one of them is a leaker.
Not responsible. Let's talk about more NXT talent.
Hey, you know what would be great?
What?
Sorry. You know what would be
great? I had a good segue there, and you ruined it. Thanks.
You know what would be great? Hold on a second,
What?
though. Sorry about that. I know you're a great segue. I want some hearings, some in the middle of the ring. I want people to be brought forth in front of a panel and grilled like those hearings back in the day. Are you now? Have you ever been a leaker?
This is what you need. No, you half the show you shoot never makes air.
Okay.
It's all to throw people off.
Yeah.
And so if people start leaking information and it doesn't happen, then their credibility is out the window and no one believes their leaks again. That's
But if somebody gets concussed during one of these, like, you know, shows that they're not going to air, it's like Samoa Joe. Can you, that poor Samoa Joe, he's still out, and he hasn't been cleared because of that. It's stupid. Those commercials were so ugly. Those USA commercials. Must be Monday. and he got concussed during. They had a power bomb through a table segment for a commercial. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You know who else
Speaking
might be
of
getting
people
out?
getting out of here, getting out of NXT, looks like we could be in line for multiple call-ups from NXT to Raw or SmackDown in the near future. So says Fightful Select. Steve, a name is redacted. They mentioned if we're not spoiling anything for SmackDown, but can you read what they're reporting, please?
Well, here's the thing, man. Tomorrow night, Friday night, either this person's going to debut or they won't. But, you know, again, I like surprises. I wish I didn't know this if this was the case. But, yes, in addition to this mystery call-up that we're not going to name, there
Name
are...
redacted.
Name redacted, thank you. There are additional NXT call-ups planned for the main roster. No firm plans have been provided, so somebody hasn't been leaking. But they're expected over the next month or so.
On our NXT recap today, you speculated that Velveteen Dream might be in line for a move over to Raw or SmackDown.
This is pure speculation on my part, given that he hasn't really participated much in this Adam Cole feud that he's in. You know, we didn't see him this past week on NXT TV. It was a negotiation Zoom call between Adam Cole and William Regal. I'm speculating that maybe Adam Cole's going to stick around. On the other hand, Velveteen Dream, he's a well-known character. Maybe you don't need him for this feud to give him the title. Undisputed Era gets called up. It could go either way. Apparently, Adam Cole's contract is coming up this summer or late summer. Maybe sending him to main roster is what you do now. I don't know, but I could see either Velveteen Dream or Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era might be getting their call up soon. I could see that happening.
Yeah, you'd think whoever loses this title match might be in line to get moved to Raw or SmackDown.
Io Shirai, she's been around a while. Send her up. Who else? Karrion Kross. He gets one takeover match with Tommaso Ciampa. Get him used
they
to
have
the
huge plans
WWE
for
way.
that guy. So yeah, why not? One
Send
match,
him
send him up to main.
Send him. Yeah, he's got one takeover match where he learns the WWE way, and then up to main.
Up to main.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beats Braun Strowman first day on SmackDown, new champion. There you go.
Boom. Done.
Speaking of SmackDown, AJ Styles is on SmackDown now, and he spoke more about. We spoke about that move, but also his good brothers, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, getting their release from WWE. Instead of doing it on a Mixer stream as he normally would do, he was on Corey Graves' podcast After the Bell, and he talked about moving to SmackDown, as I mentioned, and coping with the loss of his good brothers, his best friends. This is what he had to say. It's moving to Fox, and I think they're doing a good job, so I'm excited about that. Doing something different is good for me. I needed to change. Losing Gallows and Anderson really hurt me. Getting away from Raw helps me get over it. I don't know if I'll get over it, but it helps change the atmosphere around me and to do something different. My whole time on Raw was basically with them. To get away from that and get to SmackDown, where I've had a lot of success, it's a good thing. It is the house that AJ Styles built. He continues, I brought their names to WWE, and when they got released, I immediately felt responsible for them because I helped them get here and I wanted them to stay. He's mentioned this before as well. I thought if I had encouraged them to stay, maybe they wouldn't be behind right now. A lot of it fell on me, and I felt like I let them down. I talked to them about this. I was just crushed. I'm the oldest, and I didn't take care of them. That really bothered me, and it still does.
That's a bummer, man. That's a total bummer. These are like good friends of his. I mean, I know he still has friends, especially over there on SmackDown. Obviously, he's known Shinsuke Nakamura for quite a while. I mean, he probably, all those dudes that have been around for a while, he probably is decent friends with like Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, those guys. I mean, he's wrestled those guys all over the place. But yeah, these are like dudes that he was really close with. You could tell there was a bit of a spring in a step when he got to do the OC stuff with them. And it's still actually kind of surprising that WWE couldn't like figure out something better to do with Gallows and Anderson, man. They're really terrific wrestlers.
Pretty much as soon as they signed, you could tell they didn't really know what to do with them.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And I wonder,
the best thing they did was when they were doing the beat up John Cena thing with AJ.
Yeah, that was good stuff. This quote, I'm going to take this little chunk of quote here. He says, I thought if I hadn't encouraged them to stay, they wouldn't be behind right now. Do you take that to mean that he encouraged them to re-sign a deal, and now because he did that, they're now not part of already New Japan or AEW or something? Is that what you take that to mean?
Yeah, I would guess that would be the case.
Because they're sort of homeless right now.
Yeah, in a wrestling sense, yes.
Right, not literally. They look, by all indications, this release came with a pretty decent. It was like more of a buyout. Like they had a contract with the WWE.
Yeah, they had just signed it in September or something like that. It was not that long ago. They signed some huge deals.
Yeah,
and then the understanding was that it came with some sort of buyout, and with that there was a 90-day no compete.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully these guys. I know Carl Anderson has posted some stuff about the potential of them going to Japan again. That seems to be where they want to go. So and then New Japan. You mentioned the other day that restrictions on they're going to be running shows in the relatively near future.
Well, Japan lifted their state of emergency, and I think it was mid-June that things would be allowed to reopen with no fans, and then by mid-July, 50% capacity up to 5,000 people.
Yeah. So hopefully New Japan will get running sooner than later. And they'll have a home. That's one of my goals, man, is to like get back into New Japan once all this is said and done. Maybe try to catch all the shows, not just some of the shows, but all of the shows.
Yes.
Speaking of the potential home to Gallows and Anderson here in the United States, AEW, they have been potentially considering, when are we going to hit the road? When are we going to do tours again? Well, during an interview with Wrestling Observer, good old JR, Jim Ross, talked about how AEW's plans for live events obviously had to be shelved due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. These transcripts are from Fightful, our good friendos over there. He said this, absolutely, and I think that's the plan. I'm going to sort of go in and out of JR as I see fit here.
That's fine. Whatever seems appropriate, I guess.
He says there are some live events penciled into the schedule until the virus. You can't get better working one out of the week. It doesn't matter who you are. There are some minor exceptions. Chris Jericho doesn't need to work 3 or 4 days of the week to be grateful. He can be great working on Wednesday nights. But a lot of guys need to continue to work under the supervision of the coaches in AEW to continue to learn the fundamentals, primarily slowing down, using psychology, and selling. Just because you've been in the business for 10 years doesn't necessarily mean you're a 10-year veteran. Is that true? You think that?
Well, I think by the definition, being a 10-year veteran means you've been wrestling for 10 years.
But he clarifies here. He says it could mean you've had the same experience 10 times. I guess he means over 10 years. Getting house
the same match for 10 years, but that's what Hogan did.
Okay,
and
so
no one seemed to complain about that.
See, I kind of understand what he's saying. Like, for example, Orange Cassidy has actually been in the industry for like 15 years or something, but he hasn't worked the WWE style. And I think AEW, given that it's sort of heavy on, Moxley, Jericho, Cody, they know the WWE style. Obviously, New Japan has their own way of doing things, so you got the other guys coming in from there. So these indie guys who don't have experience in like those big systems, maybe that's what AEW is trying to adopt, something along those lines.
Well, I can understand that, like some sort of. So far, they've done a good job. Yeah, some norms that they can adhere to, and I think a lot of that would revolve around the production of their product in terms of how it's photographed.
Yeah. Working for TV so too is something different.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job of allowing all these men and women who have worked for a long time on the indies to maintain what has made them popular in the first place, while tailoring it for the television presentation. I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, if JR is strictly speaking about when he says the fundamentals, slowing down, using psychology, and selling, I understand what he means. At times on commentary, he has seemed equal measure confused and somewhat dismissive over some wrestlers' styles, especially his own knowledge of the names of the moves they employ. And so I guess my concern with from his vantage point, granted, I don't think he has like a title in terms of the executive offices of AEW. I know he is like a consultant or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the case, because I know I assume Tony Khan, Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny, all the EVPs, and Tony, who's owning the thing, have a clear vision of what they want to do.
The business has passed them by, is what you're saying.
I'm saying I hope JR is not going to the office and slamming his hand on the desk and saying this is how pro wrestling needs to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, they're bringing in some of these names who look like they are advancing the business past what it is or what it has traditionally been. And there needs to be some, like, I understand what he's saying too, with like the fundamentals and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
But, some of these people I think are brought in because they're looking to move the pro wrestling business into the future, not necessarily have it stuck in the past. So you'd like to think there's some sort of middle ground there.
Exactly.
You know, we're not pro wrestlers, but I kind of feel like, you know, that you don't have to be to understand what that sort of is, you know?
Yeah. He continues. Getting house shows is important for development talent and for revenue going forward, but who the hell knows when it's going to be? It won't be anytime soon, apparently.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with the assessment that to get better as a professional wrestler, you have to wrestle professionally.
Yeah, sure.
You get better with reps.
Yep.
Totally understand that.
Yep.
So if they, you know, have a taping or a TV, do 2 house shows a week, let use those shows as opportunity for the younger talent, people who might need more development, some people who might need more reps, especially to get ready for TV.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Totally.
And they have Dark also. They utilize a lot of, you know, in terms of being ready for TV, they utilize Dark for that kind of stuff. But yeah, obviously, like you said, reps are good. Doing things the AEW way, whatever that ends up translating to. Sure, that'll service everybody. And if they get paid, you know, a little bit more for that, then great. I'm sure that if there's a demand for it, then I'm sure they'll be able to do it. So yeah, good stuff. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night for SmackDown, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
well, tomorrow morning we'll have something maybe, yeah?
Yeah.
News brief tomorrow morning?
Yeah, sounds good. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, talk to you later.
Goodbye.